For the last 30 years, I've been in the real estate business. And in 1 year alone, my father and I closed over 500 real estate transactions. Not just listed, actually closed. Today, I run a brokerage where 4 of the top 5 producing agents in our entire market are on my team. And as a brokerage, we closed over 4,000 transactions in the last 12 months. And here's the part most people don't believe. Not one of them were licensed before they met me. They all started from zero, exactly where some of you are sitting right now. I say this because in 30 years, I've watched thousands of agents come into this business. I've seen broke people get wealthy, and I've watched people with all the talent in the world quit inside of a year. And when you do this long enough, you start seeing the same patterns over and over again, the same mistakes, the same advice that sounds smart but quietly ends careers, the same questions nobody gives a straight answer to. So today, I'm giving you the straight answers. If you've been working hard and feeling like you're getting nowhere, some of this is going to sting. But by the end, you're going to understand things most agents never figure out in their entire lifetime. And real quick, if you're an agent who wants help applying this to your own business, there's a link in the description below. That's what I do every single day. I sit down with agents and help them build something that actually gives them a life. You don't have a lead problem. You have a dialogue problem. When an agent isn't hitting their goals, the advice is always the same. Get more leads, buy more leads, talk to more people. And I'm going to tell you something that took me years to fully understand. Most of you don't have a lead problem at all. You have a dialogue problem. And no amount of leads will ever fix a dialogue problem. It'll just make it more expensive. Here's what I mean. If you're talking to 40 people just to get one appointment, going out and buying more leads doesn't help you. It just hands you more people to potentially lose. You're not losing because you don't have enough conversations. You're losing because of what happens inside of the conversations you're already having. And most agents have no idea this is the problem because the lead selling world has trained them to believe every issue is a volume issue or a lead issue. So they spend money they don't have chasing leads to cover up a skill they never built. This matters because your dialogue is the one part of this business that's completely free to fix and pays you forever. Leads cost money every month. Skill, you build once and keep it for life. The agent who can have a great conversation will out-earn the agent with the biggest lead budget every single time, and they'll spend a fraction of the money doing it. So instead of dialing faster or spending more, slow down, work on what you actually say, record yourself on the phone, and listen to it back. You'll hear the issues. For most agents, they start pitching the second somebody picks up, instead of asking questions and letting the person talk. And the way you fix it is the same way you learned every one of your favorite songs, like a Bruno Mars song. You heard it over and over again until it was just in you. Record your scripts in your own voice. Play them in your car. Role play them with another agent until the words come out clean and natural and you're not reading them anymore. That's not memorizing. That's actual mastery. And it comes from repetition, not from a bigger budget. One of the best examples I know is a coach I work with named Abe Safa. In his very first year, he made about 12,000 contacts. 12,000. Now, most agents hear that and think the lesson is volume. It's not. The lesson is that by the time you've had that many real conversations, your dialogue becomes a weapon. Today, Abe gets more business from people calling him back than most agents get all year. Because every one of those early conversations sharpened the way he talks to a seller. He didn't win because he had better leads. He won because he became the best conversation a seller had all week. Now here's where it gets interesting. Once you stop being afraid of the conversation, you stop being afraid of the word no. And that's a big deal because the agents who collect the most no's are the ones who end up making the most money. The no's are worth more than the yeses. Most agents hear no and feel like the call was a failure. I want to flip that completely. When somebody tells you no, they're almost never saying no forever. They're saying no, not right now. And here's the truth about this business. Nearly every piece of property out there sells eventually. The home that tells you no today is going to be on the market in 1 year, 3 years, or maybe 5 years from now. So think about what that really means. The majority of homes closing in your market this month, the owners told some other agent they weren't selling just a couple years ago. The deal was always coming. The only question is whether you're still in their mind when it shows up. That's why I tell agents, you're not prospecting for a yes today. You're building a database of future yeses that you get to harvest for years. So here's the shift. Every time you get a no, capture it. Get the email. Get them in your database. Get them on a system that delivers them something valuable every single month so your name stays in front of them. Because here's the math that changes how you see prospecting. Say you prospect for 3 hours and you only walk away with one solid lead. Most agents call that a wasted morning. But if in those 3 hours you also added 15 additional people to your database who told you no, and you nurture them right, those 15 no's are worth far more over the next 3 years than the one yes you got today. A no you throw away is gone forever. A no you save is a paycheck you haven't collected yet. I'll give you a real example. Not long ago, I got an email from someone saying they wanted to sell their home. And honestly, I had no idea who this person was. So I looked them up, and sure enough, they were sitting in my database from some point in the past. I don't even remember exactly how they got in there, but they've been quietly getting an automated email of value from me every single month. And one day, out of nowhere, they reached out wanting me to come list their home. That person was almost certainly a no at some point. A no I'd completely forgotten about. And it turned into a listing without me lifting a finger. That's not luck. That's a system that turns rejection into revenue. If you really get this, you start playing a longer game than everybody around you. And that long game is exactly why the markets that scare most agents away are the markets where the smart ones quietly get rich. If any of this, by the way, is hitting home and you want to be coached through this instead of figuring it out on your own, that's exactly what we do inside my Agent Success Academy. You can find the link in the description. Let's talk about something that's going to feel kind of backwards. Slow markets are where you quietly get rich. Right now, a lot of agents are looking at a tough market and they're pulling back. It takes more showings to get a deal. It takes longer to get a buyer comfortable with a property. Listings are sitting for many days, and the natural human reaction is to ease off the gas and wait for things to get better. That is the most expensive mistake you can make, and I've watched it in careers. I've been doing this through multiple market cycles, and the pattern is identical every single time. When the market gets hard, most people quit or they start coasting. The ones who lean in while everyone else leans out pick up market share. Think about the math. If transactions in your market drop 15 or 20%, but you do the same business as last year, or even a little more, you didn't just hold steady. You quietly took a bigger slice of a smaller pie. And when the market turns back around, and it always turns back around, the bigger slice compounds into something you can't picture right now. See, this matters because the slow season is when your effort feels invisible. You make the calls, you do the work, and the results don't show up right away, so it feels like nothing is happening. But what you're really doing is you're planting seeds. The agent who keeps planting in the winter is the one with the harvest in the spring, while everybody who stopped is starting over from zero. You can't control the results in any given month, but you can control your activities. And the agents who trust the activity through the quiet times are the ones who look like overnight successes a year or two later. So when the market gets hard, do the opposite of your instinct. Don't cut your prospecting, protect it. Keep your foot on the gas exactly when everyone around you is taking theirs off. This discomfort you feel is the very thing thinning out your competition for you. This is something I've watched play out through every market cycle I've been a part of. When things slow down, you'll see agents start telling themselves a story. There's no inventory, nothing's moving, it's just a bad time. And the agents who believe that story do less, so they get less, which makes the story feel even more true. Then there are the agents who just keep doing their morning work like nothing changed. And when the market turns back around, they're not rebuilding from scratch like everyone who coasted. They've already got the database, the relationships. They've got the momentum built. They didn't get lucky with timing. They leaned in during the exact stretch that scared everybody else off. And because of this, they had their best year ever. Now, you might be wondering how somebody keeps showing up like that day after day when the results aren't there yet. Because honestly, that's the hardest part of this whole business. And the answer is the single most important habit I've ever taught. And almost nobody does it right. Daily rituals will beat motivation every time. This is a truth that took me years to accept. Motivation is useless. If you're waiting until you feel like prospecting before you do it, you've already lost. What separates every top producer I've ever coached is not motivation, it's ritual. Now, let me explain the difference because it's everything. Your schedule is full of things you do for other people: appointments, showings, paperwork, putting out fires. Your ritual is the time you protect for yourself. You actually build your business during that time. And most agents have this completely backwards. They give all their best hours to other people's emergencies, then wonder why their own business never grows. The top producers do the opposite. Their first appointment every single day is with themselves. For me, that means I'm standing at my prospecting station from 8 to 11 every morning that I work, and almost nothing is allowed to interrupt that window. Not a text, not an email, not somebody else's emergency. That all happens after 11. And this matters because consistency is what makes your income predictable. And predictable income is where your freedom actually comes from. When you prospect hard for a week, then stop for 2 weeks to handle the deals you just created, you got on a roller coaster. Big month, bad month, big month, bad month. You can never plan your life because you never know what's coming next. But when you do the same activity at the same time every single day, your business stops being a roller coaster. It becomes a machine that you can count on. The inconsistency is what steals your freedom, not the work itself. So pick your window. It doesn't have to be 8 o'clock in the morning. If you take your kids to school, maybe it's 9:15 for you. The exact time matters less than this. It has to be the first real thing you do before the day fills up with distractions. And it has to be non-negotiable. The people in your life should learn this time is sacred for you, not because you ordered them to leave you alone, but because they see how much it matters to you and your family. And here's the part nobody likes to hear. It's going to be boring. Seriously, boring. Real mastery in anything is repetitious and boring, and that's exactly why most people never reach it. The agents who can sit in that boredom every single morning are the ones who win. I had 3 young agents come through my office. And they were young, like 20, 21, and 24. And first 6 months, all they did was circle prospect. They didn't call for soba owners, no expireds, no shiny strategies, no special lead programs, just cold calls. In the same window every single day. Now, 6 months in, those 3 had 20 or more active listings each. No secrets. They just made the boring thing a ritual and refused to break it. That's the whole thing. Most agents simply aren't willing to be that consistent. So if it really is that simple, fix your dialogue. Save your nose, lean in when it's slow, and stay consistent. And then why do almost 90% of agents fail? The answer is the most important thing I'll say in this entire video, and it has nothing to do with any tactic we've covered. The real reason most agents never make it is that they quit in the boring middle. They give up right before the thing they were building was about to start working. Let me describe something that I've witnessed hundreds of times in this business. An agent comes in, they're fired up. They do everything right for the first 60, 70, 80 days. They prospect, they follow up, they grind, yet nothing happens. No leads, no closings, no payoff. So around day 75, they decide it just doesn't work, that this business just isn't for them, and they walk away. And here's the heartbreaking part. In this business, the work you do today doesn't pay you today. It pays you in 90 days or 6 months or sometimes even a year away. The calls they made in those first weeks were going to come back as callbacks and emails and listings. It's just going to come back in the future. They quit at day 75 when the harvest was sitting at day 90. They'd already done the hard part. They just couldn't see it yet. They walked away right before the finish line. So if you take one thing from this whole video, take this. Don't measure yourself by your results in the early days because the results are delayed by design. Measure yourself by whether you did the activity. If you showed up and did the work, that day was a success. Trust the gap between the effort and the payoff because that gap is exactly where everyone else quits and hands you their market share. I see this almost every time we bring a new agent to the office. Somewhere right around the 3-month mark, like clockwork, the new agent decides I sold them a bill of goods. They start saying the calls don't work, that nobody wants to do anything, that I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's kind of funny because the experienced agents around the office can see it coming. They all hit that exact same wall at that exact same time, So they almost place bets on when it's going to happen to the newer agents. But here's what those new agents can't see yet. The work they did in those first weeks pays off right around the 90-day mark, as I've mentioned. So the ones who push through that wall instead of quitting, watch the deals they planted months earlier start showing up, almost like clockwork. And the ones who quit walk away from a business that was about to start working. Because the truth is, the money was never the point. The money is just the tool. The point is the life it buys you. Most agents are so busy chasing the next deal that they forgot to build the thing the deals were supposed to give them in the first place. Don't do that. Build the business, but never lose sight of why you're building it. So this is the 30 years of advice that I wish somebody had handed me when I started. But here's the thing. Knowing all of this still leaves you with one very practical question. When the listings dry up and you're starting at an empty pipeline this month, what do you actually do? That's exactly where I break down in this video right here, where I walk you through the 3 exact moves to start pulling in more listings immediately, even in a slow market. So I'll see you there.